can see behind me, the car's sitting at a jaunty angle. We're in a bit of a Diff Dilemma. Well folks, here we are again. It's just a week before the first race. If you can see behind me, the car's sitting at a jaunty angle. We're in a bit of a Diff Dilemma. We tested at Silverstone, and the 293 standard ratio in this 330 Ci was way too long, so in my wisdom decided to change it out to a 373. Got all the bits from about 4 different sources. Obviously the Quaife ATB was already in there. The offset was for the 293. We've got the casing, we've got the crown and the pinion gearing and a spacer. So I'll feed in a little shot of that and talk over it. Direct oil over Everything M3's just down the road from me here. I had it all taken apart and it was just a little bit beyond me. So he's just down the road and he offered to help put it together, which he did amiably. 2.5 hours later, we realized that the spacing and the backlash is just not suitable. We all differential. Now I know that the X3 diff will go pretty much straight into this car, and on a 2-litre diesel it's a 373 drive, so theoretically for less than 200 quid I got one off eBay. It's arriving tomorrow, all been well. If push comes to shove, we'll get the 373 in off that, change the flanges, input and drive flange most likely, and just run it as an open diff with the new ratio. So that's option number 1. Of course we don't want to miss the race. Option number 2 is that Mike Parker from Gear Lab up in Stoke-on-Trent, who supplied us with that pinion, quite kindly manned up and said it shouldn't have gone out with the nick. It should have been inspected properly. So he's offered to swap that out. The problem we have is that pinion's already in the differential casing. And to press it out and preserve the bearings and all the rest of it is quite a sort of a specialist job. So anyway, Mike has offered to take the diff on Monday. It's tomorrow, in fact. I'm going to run it up to Stoke-on-Trent to Gear Lab for him to rectify that and actually rebuild the rest of the diff. So he said he can get it back to me for Thursday, and then that gives Friday to put it into the car, maybe Saturday to do a bit of testing, and it gives Sunday for the race. So your guess is as good as mine as to whether we're actually going to get a car to race on the 16th. So that takes us nicely onto the first race itself, Silverstone National Circuit. We tested there as well, myself, Mike Jacobs from AE Racing. We're going to get his logo on the car as well, so when you see the footage from that, that's what that's all about. Mike is sharing the first drive. He's a bit more experienced than me in the racing field. In fact, him and Rob from AE Racing have built Mazda, a low-cost Mazda, racing that in the 750 Motor Club this year, so they've just finished that. If you haven't seen the build, they've documented all that, and it's AE Racing is what you're looking for on that one. So myself and Mike, he's kindly agreed to kind of ease me into this racing. It's a 45-minute race, first race, all myself, and for those that have gone before, it's a big ask. Racing for 45 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but there's an awful lot going on. Don't want to get tired, don't want to get silly and then cause an accident or anything like that. So a couple of 20-minute-ish stints, if all goes well, it's just going to be about perfect to kind of ease me into that. So wish us luck for that one. I'll try and get a little bit more documentation on the diff build over for the build stream. Otherwise, probably the next time you hear from me is very close to race day. I'll try and get something filmed probably the day before, and see if we can't get anything out live on the Facebook stream. So that's where it's at right now. Don't know if we're going to race unless we get the diff back and it's in some sort of shape. Anything can happen. So that's it from me from now. Thanks very much for tuning in. Do the old, like, subscribe and notify, and we'll get that. We'll get the latest updates in the dilemma. So the racing is almost upon us. Thanks very much for tuning in. Bye now.